Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I am doing a weekly forecast for you guys to see what the cosmic weather is like for the week of April 14th through April 21st of 2019. Don't forget, this is very general. This is just what the energy is like in the air for everybody as a collective. And if you want to know how things are for your particular sign, I do have those horoscopes available. The link is in my description box to where they are for each sign. And, like events like the full moon that's this week. If you want to know how it affects you by your sign in detail, you can go ahead and purchase one of those readings off of my website. And yeah, the link is below. All right, so what is going on this week? And pardon my voice, I'm trying to get over the stupid cold that I caught because I am a Taurus. Taurus rules the throat. I always tend to be easily susceptible to like colds and things involving your throat and, losing your voice and all that stuff. And it's not fun, but it happens. So if I sound crazy, then please forgive me. But anyway, the show must go on though, right? So this week, well, we are in this transit of the sun in a trine aspect to Jupiter right now. Excuse me. The sun is in a great aspect to Jupiter. Now it was exact on the 14th. And, a lot of people were talking about how that was like one of the luckiest days of the year because we did have what's called a grand fire trine going on between the sun, Jupiter, and the moon. The moon was in Leo. Excuse me, it was in Leo. And, so that means there's 3 planets in fire signs and they're around the same degree of each other. So I don't know if you guys felt that day, but even when that day has passed, the sun is still making an aspect to Jupiter, which is still, a very positive aspect. As long as the sun is within a realm of like, I say, up until it switches into Taurus, it's really, in the realm of being in a great trine aspect to Jupiter, which means the sun and Jupiter are complementing each other in a way. They are, I guess you could say they're sending energy back and forth. They're beaming energy to each other and working together to, combine their energies and send it down here to us and affect us in a certain way. So, Jupiter's energy is usually very positive. It's very happy-go-lucky. It is lucky within itself. Good luck, it's said to bring. And it helps you to see things from a bigger picture perspective. Now, Jupiter is retrograde right now. And Jupiter will be retrograde until August 11th. So, the sun and Jupiter are working together, which is cool. But Jupiter is big picture. But when it's retrograde, it's like going within to see things, on a deeper level from a different perspective, rather than just like, outwardly seeing the world. Jupiter's like seeing the world as like, oh, when people say that saying, the world is your oyster and you can just, the world is yours and all that stuff. That's totally Jupiter. But it's more about looking into your inner world when it's retrograde. So seeing things within your inner world that you should feel gratitude for. So, yeah, there could be some lucky stuff and maybe a more positive attitude that people may have, excuse me, during this transit. But it could be towards like highlighting things that you need to look within to work on, So, yeah, Sun trine Jupiter is going on this week. And then we have Venus is in a square to Jupiter at the same time. It's exact on the 15th, but it'll still continue through the week while Venus is in Pisces to make that square aspect. But it's super strong around the 15th. This is, Venus is love and money and the material things that we like in this world. It's the food we love to eat, what we love to drink. It's our money. It's what we love to spend our money on. Now, when it's in Pisces, it's still technically conjunct Neptune around this day too. As long as Venus is, I would say, within like 8 degrees. I use 8 degrees, give or take sometimes. But as a general rule, I use like 8 degrees of separation. So it's still in a conjunction with Neptune and it's squaring Jupiter. So don't give in to any like false hopes about, anything revolving around love and money, pretty much. Like, for example, like real life examples, thinking that you have a lot more money than you actually do to be able to just like cha-ching, like swipe that card and just buy whatever. Jupiter can have you feeling very generous and very like there's plenty for everyone and there's an abundance of things, So I did notice that I didn't really look at my account very much, and I did miscalculate some stuff. Actually, the good thing is I miscalculated my money to where I actually had more than what I thought. But I did spend more than I should have on, some household things, because, my moon is in Pisces, Venus is on my moon, Venus is beautifying things, moon is the home. So, I was like, oh, you know what? This is very important to me right now to just, beautify my living space. It's good for my sanity, which it is, but maybe I could have, spent a little less. So Venus square Jupiter is like high hopes, not really looking at the details or the consequences as much as you normally would before you actually jump and fly and do something. And while it's still conjunct Neptune at the beginning of the week, that can really have us like not seeing things as clearly as we should. So when it comes to love, yeah, some people with this Venus Jupiter square, with Neptune still in the mix, can still be, and it's still conjunct Mercury, which is still in its shadow period until it switches into Aries, right? So that means that, there's still a little bit of caution that has to be had when it comes to matters of love as well. I mean, I'm talking about like if you're getting to know somebody and there's like new love, new relationship stuff in the mix, and you're seeing someone as this beautiful angel, and it's like, yo, you might be seeing that right now, but once all the fog clears, Aries gives 0 Fs, you know what I'm saying? Once Venus goes here, Mercury goes here, you may look at that person a little differently. So yeah, at the beginning to the middle of the week, there's still like a little bit of potential delusion and deception with love and money that we need to be cautious of. That can mean coming from others, or we deceive ourselves, So that's going on. Okay, excuse me, Venus. Yeah, but Venus is still in Pisces this week, finishing its run through Pisces. Mercury moves a little faster, so let's talk about him real quick. Mercury is going to shift into Aries. On the 16th, it's at that 29th degree of Pisces. So the 29th degree is a degree of wrapping things up. Hallelujah. Oh my God. You know what? I'm sure I've been saying this every week that, excuse me. I can't wait for Mercury to get out of Pisces. Oh my God. Even as a Pisces person, my moon is Pisces, right? Even as a Pisces, this Mercury retrograde cycle has been horrendous. It doesn't matter what signs. I've talked to every sign, you guys. Everybody has said, oh my God, this Mercury retrograde. There's just been water and tears flying. Oh my God, it's just been crazy. But you know what? I have noticed that this is the third time that we've had Mercury at this 29th degree. And so this is like a third chance to look at a certain thing from a new perspective this time. So wherever Pisces is in your natal chart, once again, if you order a horoscope for your sign, I go more in detail of where it is in your sign, but it's wrapping up some things. It's wrapping some things up, and the 29th degree is all about that. And then the 0 degree mark of the next sign is about starting fresh and new within that sign, within that realm of your life that that sign rules for you. So throughout the evening of the 16th or early morning, the 17th, depending upon where you are in the world, we still have excuse me, Mercury and Venus in a conjunction in Pisces. Oh my God, sorry, I had to be ugly and clear my throat. We still have them together in Pisces, and this can be very beautiful for music and poetry and all that cool Pisces stuff. Speaking in ways that are a little bit more poetic and and creative, and just, yeah, creativity is like on high with this. But for everything else, yeah, Mercury in Pisces is not very logical. It's more about emotions. It's like, let me tell you, I've dealt with some Mercury and Pisces people who have that as a placement in their chart, and oh my gosh, it's like, it's more about non-verbal communication and like being stuck in your own head and not really getting the words out. And it can be kind of frustrating for other energies, you know, who have to interact with that. So trust me, when the shift into Aries happens, oh, Aries is bold, honey. Okay, Aries is super bold. So look, it's like, okay, let's say 11 p.m. I'm on Pacific time, Pacific US time. 11 p.m. Mercury shifts into Aries, and excuse me, if you're in anything east of that, it's going to be the 17th pretty much. Mercury will shift into Aries, and let me see, how long is Mercury going to be in Aries? I should have noted this. OMG. Let's take a look at, okay, 2019 ephemeris. And I don't care who doesn't like cafeastrology.com. I use it for their ephemeris mostly. Yeah, that's mostly what I use it for. It is good to have. I look at tables. I mean, I come from an accounting background. I'm a numbers nerd. This is the best way for me to look at things, as well as looking at a circular wheel. Okay, so everybody's brains work differently, so shut up. Okay, so let's see. How long is Mercury in Aries for? Mercury is in Aries only until the 6th of May. That's right. So only for a couple of weeks we have Mercury in Aries. But yeah, the shift happens on the 16th of April. So right away, Mercury is in a conjunction with Chiron. Excuse me, right away it can count as a conjunction. And let me tell you what this is bringing, because even when I'm recording this, Mercury's not in Aries yet, but it's still very close to Chiron. And people are, you know, very emotional and sensitive about issues revolving around their identity and their physical body. Aries does rule both of those. And Chiron is pain, you know, suffering. So Mercury is speaking. So people have been speaking out and saying things a little bit more than usual about, you know, their body, their appearance, and their identity, and how they feel about, you know, if they feel like they've received any type of negative energy from people, or words from people that have been hurtful to them regarding their identity or their body. You know, they're kind of speaking out about it a little bit more. It's very true. I got into a little debate online with some people about stuff like that, like trying to say that their body type, you know, they suffer so much with their body type, and people with the opposite body type have such a privilege. And you know, that kind of, I'm very Uranian in nature. I will challenge people's thinking, to think outside the box and think outside of themselves. And think outside of themselves. And, you know, just, I had to challenge them. Like, are you serious? You know, you cannot say that every single person with a specific body type just is so privileged and lives such a privileged life, and they're just so happy and they have no issues with their body, and no one ever talks trash about their body. Oh, everybody just loves people like that, and just, oh, they just receive so much like, are you serious? The grass is not always greener. Everybody has their own identity and body struggles, and, you know, if you have your own, it's understandable, but you can't just drag other people into it and say, you guys have it better than me. Oh, no, you can't do that. Each individual has their own struggles, and you can't just, you know, you can't just do that. Anyway, I'm not here to be social justice warrior in this lifetime. I have the South Node in Aquarius, so you know what I'm saying? I'm letting that go. I'm more focused on individuals, but individualism in this lifetime, I should say. But yeah, so, you know, that's just a little debate that happened, and people are very sensitive about that right now. Very sensitive. I got very sensitive too, I'll admit. So that's going to be going on this week. So just, if you can, hold off on any words that may be setting anyone off in regards to their body, their appearance, and their identity. Okay? Because Aries sees red and sees, hey, those are fighting words, you know? So, but Mercury shifting in the Aries, besides the conjunction to Chiron, though, it is going to be refreshing. I feel like it is. It's going to add more fire into the sky. And when there's fire in the sky, there's more action. There's more, you know, communication with Mercury and Aries can be a little crazy. I'm not going to lie. It's very blunt, very direct, can be tactless at times. All fire sign Mercuries can be tactless. I think, the worst is Aries, second worst is Sagittarius, and then, you know, Leo tends to try to finesse a little bit more and be smooth about things because they want people to praise them and like them. The other two, Aries and Sag, really give 0 Fs if anybody likes them, and they just say whatever. So Mercury and Aries is definitely that. So people will be speaking out like in a little more cutting ways. I think Mercury and Aries combined with Mars being in Gemini, Mars and Mercury will actually be in mutual reception to one another for a little while. And what that means is, you know, Mars is in the sign. Mars is the ruler of Aries. Okay, so the ruler of Aries is in the sign that's ruled by Mercury. And Mercury rules Gemini, so where's the ruler of it? You know, Mercury is in Aries, the sign that Mars rules. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully that wasn't confusing. But they're in mutual reception to one another, at least through the first week of May. So what that means is, yes, the words will be more cutting, more sharp, excuse me, more sharp, and just like very blunt, very bold. People will be with the clapbacks, the witty comebacks, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't doubt if there's even more like online wars, you know, or even in person, people talking to each other and popping off on each other when normally they would be a little more calm about things or more smooth, you know what I'm saying? But hey, yeah, this is definitely going to be a switch and a huge change, a huge shift from the past couple of months with Mercury and Mercury and Pisces and retrograde. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, never again, Lord, please. Even though the rest of this year, Mercury is going to go retrograde and the other two water signs. Oh, my goodness. I don't even know how that's going to go. But we'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, Mercury and Aries is going to be refreshing. You know, the things that maybe you didn't verbalize when Mercury was in Pisces. Oh, maybe you will boldly verbalize that stuff now. Okay. So moving on to the 19th. This is when we have a full moon in Libra. Well, first of all, this is the day that Mercury and Chiron really will be in a conjunction to one another on the 19th, on Friday. So emotions will be on high. People will be highly on the defense about defending their rights, defending their identity, defending their people, defending their bodies and their body types and all that. Like, so unless you really want to step in the ring, maybe you should, you know, keep some of that stuff to yourself, is what I'm saying. But yeah, people will be very sensitive with that, communications with that stuff. But excuse me. Oh, okay. So it looks like we need to go back to really super early in the day for the full moon at 29 degrees of Libra. I think it's like early in the morning, Pacific time, US time, like 7 something. That it's at that 29th degree. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry for being gross and sniffly. Okay. So yeah, Pacific time, this is what it is. If you're anything east of that, it's later in the morning or like, you know, in the afternoon sometime. But okay, this is the sun at 29 Aries and the moon at 29 Libra. So that's what creates a full moon, the opposition between the sun and moon in opposite signs. So this is even more of that Aries I am versus, and I'm proud of me and to be me, versus the Libra caring about what other people think and caring about getting along with others and being more diplomatic in nature and being more considerate of others before you jump and take action. You know, it's a back and forth debate somewhere in your life that carries that energy, you know. So it's like, well, I want to do me and I want to, you know, but then again, what about Libra's a sign of relationships? But, you know, what about my relationship? What about what my relationship partner wants or expects from me, or just others in general? Should I be considerate of others and their opinions, or should I just boldly just bam, just bust on the scene, bust through the wall, like the Kool-Aid man, those old Kool-Aid man commercials, if you're an old person, old enough to remember that. Just bust through the wall, bust on the scene, like, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing, and just move it forward. Or are you going to say, well, I don't know, let me check with everybody and see how they feel, let me consider like not hurting anyone's feelings? That's more Libra energy. And this full moon is actually, it does count as being in a T-square with Pluto. Being in a T-square with Pluto, that means it's like a frustrating aspect to Pluto. Pluto, it pushes ugly things up to the surface a lot of times. Things that you hide and you push down. And I know this sounds really gross, but I'm a Scorpio and we use words like this. Things that like fester beneath the surface that just become really, like they just need to come out and be released in order for you to feel cleansed and cleared. Yeah, Pluto is in the mix of this. So it is kind of making a square, I would say, to the north and south nodes. So that's forming like a grand cardinal square. The nodes, they rule fate and fated events and karma. So yeah, this is a very karmic full moon. I know a lot of people will blow every full moon up like it's the biggest event ever in the world and it's so rare and karmic and nah, but I'm going to tell you, do the math. The nodes of fate and karma, the sun, the moon, Pluto, which is about destroy and rebuild, the story of the phoenix bird. You just do the math and it's right there. Like, hey, there's really some things that need to change and be gotten rid of. And the 29th degree, remember what I said, that's the very last degree of a sign. It's about wrapping things up, just getting them over with and done so you can move on to the next sign, the next thing in your world, So, excuse me, it could be like an us versus them or me versus them, or maybe this is just in general the sign of relationships. This won't hit a relationship house in your chart for every single sign, but I guess just generally it's like how much do you really care about what others think versus just doing you? How often do you just take action just take it and not ask anyone's permission or think about anybody else before you do it? And how often do you say, well, let me make sure I'm not offending anyone, or kind of consider other people's feelings? That's what these two energies represent. So there is a back and forth, and then once the full moon peak is over with, then that's when things are less intense. They still will be pretty intense over the next couple days after, but the intensity builds, the days before, and then it's like, oh, the full moon's at its peak, and then you really feel that, and then once it moves, and shifts, like for example, once it shifts signs, especially into Scorpio, it's kind of like a little bit of a sense of relief. Not too much though, especially considering this aspect here, the moon in an opposition to Uranus. Uranus is like sudden crazy things, and it can bring anxieties about things. It's like this jolt and this buzz of electric energy. And that could be literally you feel that within yourself, or just things that happen within your life. They're just sudden and crazy and you didn't expect them. So this moon and Uranus opposition can bring something that's like, the full moon gets to its peak and then it's like, okay, but then it's just like zing, like this zing of energy of wanting to just change and shift things and adjust them. And they could be major because Taurus and Scorpio are in the mix that, are about major life stuff. So that's what's going on. That's the full moon on the 19th. And this is the day, once again, that Mercury and Chiron, they come together, and I talked about that. Okay, so on the 20th, this is when the sun shifts into the sign of Taurus. So it's probably like super early in the morning, in Pacific time. Yeah, it's like mad early in the morning, just after like 2 a.m. And anywhere east of that, it's just somewhere else in the day. So the sun shifts into Taurus. Now, normally I would say this is like a very calm, serene, peaceful energy. And, that we're being graced with to calm a little bit of that Aries fire down, bring a little bit of a different element in the mix, so we're not too jumpy, too pushy, too excitable and impatient and stuff, because Taurus has all the patience in the world, honey. Okay, trust me, I have 4 personal planets and 1 asteroid in Taurus. Okay, so we have all the patience in the world. However, the sun in Taurus conjunct Uranus, this can still bring some sudden shifts into things. Let me tell you a little something about this. I feel like Uranus in Taurus is really showing us as a collective, and especially people born under fixed signs, that nothing and no one is permanent or promised to you forever. Okay? Because Taurus is one of those signs of permanence and of like things staying the same, and day after day is the same thing, and it's routine, and it's not a very changeable energy. Uranus being in this sign is like, really, Uranus is about changing things suddenly and unexpectedly. So things that we're usually very fixed about and stubborn about, Uranus and Taurus is like kind of shaking things up. Sun conjunct Uranus, it can be like, you think la-di-da, I'm secure in this and secure in that, and then it's like bam, the universe, Uranus in particular, shows you no, you cannot be too secure. Other than that, Uranus brings great genius ideas, great ideas that just suddenly they seem to come out of nowhere. And Taurus, it rules money, and it's ruled by Venus, so everything the Venus rules that I mentioned earlier. So this could be sudden ideas that you come up with once the sun shifts, and then even a few days after. It's still in the realm of Uranus, so it's like suddenly realizing some things about your financial situation, or it could be some sudden changes in your finances or your material possessions. Suddenly there's something that is brought up or that changes with it, and then you have to adapt and adjust to that. Or it could just be ideas like, what, I all of a sudden have this money making idea, or I want to start a podcast, or I want to do mukbang videos. That's all the stuff that Uranus and Taurus alone has been bringing, because Taurus rules food, Taurus rules the voice. Uranus is the airwaves. It's unique new things. So maybe we can see in the news something that comes up with any of those things, or with Bitcoin, or something changing with money, worldwide currency. That type of thing could be highlighted even extra once the sun shifts into Taurus. But the sun will be in Taurus from the 20th until May 21st, I believe. Yeah. So, for pretty much a whole month. But yeah, the sun shifts into Taurus. This is a really good shift. But like I said, it's not going to be calm and serene until it moves away from Uranus, which is not going to be for maybe like another, like a little more than a week, like week and a half after the 20th. Also on the 20th, this is when Venus shifts into Aries. She's going to be at 29 degrees of Pisces, wrapping some things up that Venus rules, that have to do with love and money. That's the basics. And then looks like, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern US time, and the early evening in the eastern parts of the world, or, if you're somewhere else, it could be the next day. Venus shifts into Aries. So Venus will be in Aries. How long will she be there? Sorry. Venus will be in Aries until, looks like the 15th of May. Yeah, till May 15th. So, roughly about a month. Okay. So yeah, Venus shifts into Aries. And right away she's in contact with Chiron and with Mercury. I'll probably talk more about this next week when I cover the 21st and beyond, for when she is really exact with Chiron and Mercury. But this combination right here, this can have people, same thing, you know, as I talked about earlier, Venus rules your appearance and vanity and your self-esteem. In some ways, it could be your self-esteem, like self-worth, self-value, how you feel about yourself and the way that you look, what you deem as beautiful, even outside of yourself, and so on. So there could be conversations that come up surrounding those things, a lot of thoughts, a lot of maybe some inner dialogue that you have with yourself, you know, that has to do with healing from anything to do with your physical body and your dissatisfaction with it, or your appearance in any other type of way, or, you know, identity issues, like people, whatever you feel you identify as, that makes you you, because Aries is a sign of me first. So there's things that may come up with that, but Venus in Aries, she is bold, yo. Before, like, after she gets past Chiron in the weeks to come, yeah, she doesn't play around with what she wants. Flirtatiousness is a little more barbaric in nature, whereas when Venus is in Pisces, it's like, oh, you know, you're a damsel in distress in a tower and you're just dreaming about the one that you want, but you're not necessarily doing anything to go after them. You may just stay stuck in your head and fantasize and, you know, oh, if only I had this person. But no, Venus in Aries, like, hunts its prey down, like, oh, that's what I want, and goes and snatches it up. So that's what the attitude when it comes to love, and also when it comes to money, can be. You know, you want money, you go after it, you do the work, you just cut the BS, and you don't wait around and wish for things. You make things happen. That's all Aries energy. So Venus shifting into Aries will be a really good thing. I'm so glad that Mercury and Venus will be together in Aries, because Mercury and Aries by itself, oh my gosh, it can be a little too much. Well, you know, if you're made of fire, a lot of fire, maybe it's not, or even air, you know, it's no big deal to you. But if you got a heavy earth or water influence in your energy, in your chart, Mercury and Aries could be like, you just want to smack somebody and tell them, sit down, shut up, and stop being so loud. Okay, it's can you lower your voice and stop typing in all caps, for goodness sakes? Oh my God. So, and can you spell correctly? Like, geez. So yeah. But it is a really nice change. Oh my God, after this Mercury retrograde, I'm actually very happy for Mercury being in Aries, you guys, and Venus, because Venus will make sure to keep Mercury in check a little bit. May say some bold things, you know, that are a little tactless and maybe rude or something. Then Venus will trail behind and be like, I'm sorry, I was having too much fun. I just didn't really think about what I said, but, you know, I'm over it now, and can we just have a good time? Makes me think of Dave Chappelle's Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories, the Rick James one. When I don't remember what happened on that, like Rick James punched Charlie in the face with that unity ring, and he's like, look what you did in my face. And then Rick is like, I'm sorry, Charlie Murphy, I was having too much fun. You want to smoke with your old boy Rick James? That's what this Mercury and Venus and Aries make me think of. Like, bam, you hit somebody with your words, or maybe even your hands, and then Venus comes behind and is like, hey, I'm sorry about that, I'm over it, let's just have a good time, let's party. Anyway, that's it, you guys. That's it for the cosmic weather, the energy for the week of the 14th through the 21st of April 2019. So once again, if you want to know where most of this stuff affects you based on your sign, I have horoscopes available. The link is in the description box. Otherwise, I will excuse me, I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a good week, and take care of yourselves out there. All right, peace.